There are a few systems that aren't fully utilized in Xenogears' combat system, most notable among them is combo. In theory, the idea is great, being able to string together a long chain of death blows. It ties into the fighting game inspiration and looks pretty cool overall. In practice, however, combo falls quite flat. As mentioned in the previous video about death blows, it has the symptom of just spamming your most powerful option. That's also assuming you actually use it. Combo requires you build up AP, which in turn requires that you don't use death blows when you attack, and also don't use up all of your attacks. The end result is a pretty significant damage loss, as you lose the upfront damage that comes with the lead-up attacks to the death blow. On top of that, the combo death blows cost as much as it would take to perform the death blow normally. It's so bad that even in fights where there are damage thresholds and enemies who can heal themselves, such as the boss of the sewers, you're still better off spamming death blows or just using normal attacks. Since there are a number of different levers to play with here, we ended up messing with a few different aspects to make the system feel a lot more engaging overall. The first adjustment we made actually came naturally due to the other changes. In the last video, we went over the changes to the base death blow system, making earlier death blows more viable up through the late game. As a consequence of that, there are a lot of scenarios where you'll naturally end up storing AP by setting up your death blow effects, which leads into combo quite nicely. Of course, there is still the problem of needing to initiate an attack to gain any AP at all. To make this a bit easier and intuitive, we've changed how defending works. Normally, defending doesn't do too much. Sure, it blocks half of the incoming damage for a single attack, but beyond that, you're better off just attacking most of the time. Defend now adds all your attacks to your AP meter, allowing you to not just block for the turn, but store up some longer-term value. This also helps add a defensive alternative to the all-out offense of setting up death blow effects before comboing, allowing you to tank with a character before unleashing, or stack effects first. The last main change we made to the combo system is the costs themselves. They are unfortunately just overcost in base game, so we decided to lower all of the combo costs, with Faye getting a bit lower prices than the rest of the cast to make him stand out. One thing that should be mentioned about combo is its interaction with the new death blow effects. In general, combo serves as a pure damage option, forsaking the buffs and debuffs they would normally apply. That said, there is an exception to this rule, those being the death blows that adjust the damage formula, such as Ellie's Screamer or Rico's Death Roll. Since these death blows don't apply effects to the enemy, but rather do ether damage or ignore defense, they maintain their effects, though their costs are a bit higher than they would normally be to compensate. From what we've seen so far, the rework systems make the ground combat significantly more dynamic and allow fights to build up and flow naturally. Base game, you needed to go out of your way to engage with the combo system, whereas with the Perfect Works build, it's been a bit more integrated into the core combat. Stepping away from combo for a moment though, I also wanted to break down some of the more minor changes to how combat functions in the Perfect Works build. For starters, let's talk about the buffs and debuffs. If you didn't know, the defense up spells that Rico and Billy both get simply don't function as intended in base game. They just don't do anything. This project fixed that, allowing them to function as intended. On top of this, we've added some additional effects to the game, many of which are utilized by the new death blow effects. The first of these are Weaken and Wither. These are very similar, being debuffs that reduce the target's stats by 10%. For Weaken, it targets both attack and ether, whereas with Wither, it targets defense and ether defense. Ether defense down on its own is another debuff that was added. It's not particularly notable, but it didn't exist base game, so I figured it'd be worth mentioning here. Moving along to elemental damage, there are a few new effects. The first is a debuff that applies weakness to an element while not giving the target resistance to the opposite element. This is exclusive to Bart's 7 AP death blows. There are also the new resist up and resist down effects, which increase or decrease the incoming damage from elemental attacks, regardless of their typing. Finally, there's the fairly self-explanatory instant death. This is just a percentage chance to instantly kill an enemy, though bosses are immune to this of course. That about sums up the major changes that we made to the combat system. As we move towards finalizing the rest of the characters on foot, you can expect to see more videos on them come out. We're also working on gear combat right now to try to make that a lot more in depth, so make sure you stay tuned to see what changes come from that.